morning, everybody. Just wanted to go over a couple announcements today. Make sure everybody's on the same page with e-learning here at CCSC or CHS or CMS. I've got my Canvas up on the screen, as you can see. I just wanted to point out, make sure you are submitting your attendance for every class. Every class should have attendance under assignments. You should have a text box, and you should be able to put here and submit it. Simple as that. Just make sure you're doing that. I do have assignments every day in my classes, so if you're turning your stuff in, I know you're there. But not everybody does that, and it's not always going to happen that way for me either. So you need to make sure you're submitting your attendance. Make sure you know that your teachers know that you're still alive, that you don't have the pandemic, and you're not laying in bed coughing and dying. So make sure you're doing that. Miss Carfault sent out an email this morning, and I'd like to read over it with you guys and talk about it for a second. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right, here we go. Number one, please email me today the names of any student you have not heard from in any way. And that goes back to the attendance piece. So if we don't have assignments from you guys and you haven't turned in the attendance piece, then we don't know what's going on with you. We need to make sure that you're around well, you know what's going on, you have access to everything, you have a working computer. So if students haven't reached out, there's no way that we can hear back from them, even if we're sending email after email after email. So if you know of somebody that's having problems, let us know. Put it in chat. I'll be able to read it, pass that on to somebody else, or I can take care of it myself. Let me know. Number two, still a couple teachers that have not gotten Suzanne Phelps. Okay, this is all about paper assignments. If you have friends, neighbors, relatives that are getting paper assignments because they don't have internet access or they have very limited internet access, make sure they're getting their stuff and make sure they're getting it done and they can get it turned in a timely fashion. I know personally, I have a couple kids in personal finance class that are on pen and paper or pencil and paper as it may be. And I can't submit attendance for those classes for anybody until those classes have submitted their work back to me and I can make sure that it's done and that they were there or they completed the daily assignment. So if you know somebody that's doing pencil and paper, make sure they have their stuff, make sure they get their stuff turned in. Next one, it says, in looking in Canvas myself and with talking to some students, we're all doing attendance in the same way, which is good. You have expectations, you know where to go and click stuff. But we're not all posting assignments in the same way. Okay, so teachers post assignments differently. We all know that. That's the way it's been since we started Canvas. And that's okay, as long as you know where to find stuff from your teachers. I know some teachers like to put a big doc out and have you do certain work over a certain time period, and that's fine, as long as you know where to find that work and as long as they can grade it. If you're in my classes, we are not changing anything. We're doing the exact same stuff. You're going to find the exact same Canvas assignments in the exact same place. Your expectations shouldn't change for my classes. I know some teachers don't use Canvas as much or haven't in the past, and that's okay, and they're getting used to it. So if you see something that you think they could change that would make it easier for kids, drop them an email. It's a learning process. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented territory for everybody. So make sure you're helping everybody, and that includes your teachers. Let's see, the next one says, if you have seniors, we're doing a spotlighting seniors in the coming days. All right. This is talking about Mrs. Brown is going to head up a project, and she's going to be sending out a question and answer for students to fill out. And basically this is just saying that Mrs. Brown's going to be sending out an email. Read your email, answer it, send it back. Simple as that. So just make sure you're reading your email. If you know somebody that's not reading their email, slap some sense into them. All right, and the last one's really important as well. Some students are beginning to have some Chromebook issues. So far, they tend to be emailing teachers instead of technology staff, and that's fine. We can pass that along. But it is important that you know, or that you let Mr. Carfault or Mr. Houck know that you're having a problem. Okay, send Mr. Carfault an email if you're in the high school, middle school, and just let him know what's going on. If you can't send him an email, smoke signals. We'll find something. Okay, carrier pigeons are really nice this time of year. Okay, just let somebody know. Right. Anything else pertinent that I need to go over with you guys? That's my dog. Somebody must be at the door, so that's exciting. Okay. All right, I think that's all the announcements I need to do today. Let's go over our assignments for my classes. No surprises, really. The Chapter 7 test in personal finance was yesterday. Haven't graded it yet. I plan to grade it after stream. Actually, I have a doctor's appointment after stream, so sometime in the early evening, I'll get that graded, get that put into Harmony. So that means we're starting Chapter 8 today. That's day 54. So go formative, day 54. If you're in personal finance, that's where we're headed. Computer science, we're still in 331. We're moving on to day 3. Or day 4, actually. Yeah, day 4. This is day 3 of e-learning, so it would be day 4. Make sure you're being as detailed as possible when you're telling me about what you've done. So if you just say, I worked on my code, I mean, that's great, as long as you're actually working on your code, but be specific. Say, I worked on a timer. I'm working on getting a variable working, and I saw a couple people were writing stuff like that. Lily is an example. Was writing, working on getting certain variables working, and that's great. At this point, you should be past the planning process. You should have already had your backlog really solid, your user story really solid, and know where you're going with this. And like I said earlier, this doesn't have to be, hey, I made 75% of the program in one day. Baby steps. Get a little bit, do a little bit the next day, do a little bit the next day. That's what the backlog is for. They're milestones. Hit them on your own time frame. Now, at the end of 331, we're going to do presentations. So we'll use Google Slides, something like that, to present our program to everybody else in the class. And I'll show them on stream. I'll show them to everybody on here. And then I'll post them on a forum that everybody can see. I haven't decided how I want to do that yet, whether it's a Google Drive folder or what, but everybody's going to be able to see these. So get your program, get it done. We've got some really cool ideas, so keep marching forward on those, and then think about how you want to present this to everybody. Okay, so that's computer science. Web design, same stuff we've been doing. You got a blog entry today. You've got 30 badges due on Thursday. Spoiler alert, 35 badges next week. So get those done, get those turned in. Ooh, that reminds me, I need to talk about schedule as well. Radio TV, vocab day 2. 10 new vocab words. You guys did pretty well on the vocab words yesterday. Pretty good on your examples. Understand what all those terms mean. Now, it's one thing just to write down the definitions. it's another thing to understand what they mean and how to use them. So when we talk about something like aspect ratio, that's not necessarily, well, it is how you're filming something, which is fine, but it's also how you're displaying it to the end user. So you can record something in a certain resolution, and then it needs to be played back in a certain way. An aspect ratio is how that video is boxed. So like if you see black bars on top and bottom, you're not taking up the whole screen. You're looking at something like 16 by 9, 16 by 10, which is kind of the new thing. But that's what aspect ratio is, and that's how it plays. Okay, I wanted to talk about schedule really quick. Oh, and there's a quiz tomorrow on those vocab words for radio TV. So let me bring up my email again, and I just wanted to go over one more thing. See if I can bring it up in the stream. Ooh. Okay, Open Office, my favorite thing in the world. So if you have a Windows computer at home and you don't want to pay for Microsoft Office, which I don't blame you one bit, I don't pay for Microsoft Office. You can get something called Open Office. There's also a program called LibreOffice, and it gives you all the same tools and all the same stuff as the Microsoft products, except it's free. Look into that. All right, so up on screen, you're going to see, it was included in an email by Dr. Smith, and it was to everybody. You should have gotten this in your email. So once again, check your email. All right, as we go down, the important part that I want to talk about is right here. So the governor has said nobody can go back to school until May 1st. Okay, May 1st is what, a Friday? So it would be May 4th for us. And that means we have to extend e-learning from what we had originally planned. We originally planned for these 2 weeks. Okay, this week, next week, 4 days, 4 days. But with the new resolution from the governor, we're gonna have to extend that through the end of April. Maybe longer, we don't know yet. But this is what that's gonna look like. 3 e-learning days a week for those next 3 weeks. Okay, so we're talking April 14th through the 16th, Tuesday through Thursday. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, same schedule the next week, April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, we will have school. Those are e-learning days. And then April 28th, 29th, and 30th, those are e-learning days as well. So those are all Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's kind of the plan as we go forward. Okay, some more important stuff that's in that email. This is in a Word document. I'm sure you got the email. If you need to if you want to look at it personally, go check it out if you haven't deleted it already. But it says any decision on if and when our students may return to the classroom this spring will be dependent on the direction received from the governor and state educational leaders. So if the governor says, hey, you can't go back to school, then we can't go back to school. It's as simple as that. I know a lot of places, yesterday Mr. Stockberger mentioned that several states are already closing for the school year. They're already done. I asked him, and I've asked him several times about graduation, and he just doesn't know. There's no way to know. Probably annoying for me to keep asking. But I don't know. It's kind of on you guys to decide what you want the rest of the school year to look like. Okay? And then he ends with an encouraging line. He says, I encourage everyone to continue to have faith, to believe in a positive future. Our best days are ahead. Everyone counts, everyone matters. That's kind of the tagline for CCSC, Covington Community School Corporation. And that is from Monday. So if you're looking for this in your email, it's Monday. Okay. I'm not used to pointing to certain parts of the screen yet. There you go. If you want to look at that personally, Monday. All right. Those are really the only announcements I have for you guys. We've already gone over assignments. This might be a super quick stream today. If we don't have any questions in chat, then I'm only going to hang out for a little while longer. And then I'm going to be done with it. I want to see if I can put anything in chat to wake people up. All right, say something. Clicky, clicky, clicky. All right, so chat pops up. Saw some of you guys are really good about getting up early, getting your e-learning turned in. That is awesome. Good on you. We've already got several turned in today. It's only 10 o'clock. Let's keep that schedule up. All right. Well, barring a miraculous Skype call or anything, I'm gonna end the stream. Hey! Attendance, Mr. Lewis. Make sure you're doing that. Good hearing from you. I was getting worried. How'd your test go? Did you ace it? I would check it on stream, but I don't want to put you through that. Scotty's here. Bit rate. Did I type bill rate in there? Bit rate. Bit rate. B-I-T-R-A-T-E. Okay, and that's going to be the transmission rate on a video or stream. Oh good, it went pretty well. Excellent. Like hearing that. And there are giants running upstairs. I'm sure you guys can hear that on stream. So bit rate, let me show you what that looks like in real world terms. So I'm going to bring up my stream bit rate, which is super reduced, but still not performing. Okay, let me see if I can even find it. Okay, I can't change the actual bit rate during stream, but down here you're going to see target bit rate, and that's what you want your transmission rate to be. So how quickly you're uploading to an actual source. Oh, there you go. You're looking for bill rate. So bit rate, I mean, usually your minimum should be like 3,500 on a stream. My internet's garbage. So my target bit rate is 2,000, which is super low, and it's still not holding that. That's why you can hear me, probably, most likely, but it's super jank on the actual screen rate, the bit rate. Okay, so it's sending stuff. Audio is easier to send than video, but not fast enough to make a moving picture. And bitrate just doesn't have to do with internet speed. It can also be actual transmission rate of a wired connection as well. So look at our basketball broadcast. So we're hooking the Nikon up on a USB 2.0 port. Now the cam link is built for USB 3.0. So because we're not able to push enough data from the camera to the laptop in a bit rate, in a high enough bit rate, we see those little stutters every now and then. That's why we get the little stutters on the actual sports video, because the laptop can't handle a USB 3.0 connection because it doesn't have one built in. So the laptop was built before USB 3.0 is kind of standard. It'd be nice to have something like that. We might have to steal Ethan's razor blade. I hope that makes sense. Somewhere in my incoherent rambling, you're able to come up with an answer for bitrate. Does it make sense? Hopefully. Good. All right, I'm gonna take this off of my main screen and see how Brendan did. Just real quick, I'm not gonna grade it, just kind of want to see a quick idea of how it went. Okay, all right. For a preliminary score, pretty good. There's a lot of essays on this one that I have to grade for quite a few points. Okay. All right, does anybody have anything else? You can see my sweet wallpaper. Oh, and here's a new tool for you guys, Loom. Mr. Howe recommended that. It's awesome. It's like Screencastify, but there's no time limit. It works on Windows, iOS, Chromebooks. You can add it as a Chrome extension, and it records your screen, and you can overlay yourself talking about a certain subject that's on the screen, kind of like right here, but you can record it, and it backs it up to the web. It's fantastic. I tried it yesterday. Mrs. Girdler is looking for a way to get some videos out like this without having to stream. And it was awesome. So easy to use, so easy to install. So that's a tool you guys can use. Scotty, you have any other questions before I end the stream? I want to give you a chance to ask what you need to ask. Good seeing you. Yeah, bit rate, not bill rate. That's my bad if I typed it wrong. I apologize. Nothing? Rule of thirds. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a picture example because this is going to make a lot more sense visually. Okay, so this comes from the world of photography, but it is applied in video all the time. Okay, so this gives us a basic definition. It says to imagine breaking an image down into thirds, both horizontally and vertically, so you have 9 parts. And this is what that's going to look like. So it's going to look like a grid. Okay. So we're going to frame our shot dealing with that grid. Okay, and that way we can line certain elements up using these lines. And sometimes an LCD viewfinder will have those. Sometimes you can turn them on or turn them off, so they're not always there. But it's a good way to get stuff centered and a good way to put certain objects in certain places in a picture. And video is just a moving picture, right? So here's their example on how they would use it. Okay, so they've got their grid up, and in the right third vertically they've got your secondary subject. So this part of the screen, they've got their secondary subject. Their primary subject is this little B, and he's right in the middle, and he's filling up the second vertical and the bottom two boxes, but he's mostly centered in that middle box. Okay, some other examples. Okay, and it's all about where you want to focus, where you want your subject to focus. Okay, so you can off-center stuff, but you can use these lines to center them with the rule of thirds. So if they're shifted to the left, we'll use this lady as an example. So if your subject's shifted to the left, you can still center her along this line. And if that's on your screen, great. If that has to be an imaginary line, that's fine too. Okay, but you'll see how the line kind of cuts down her middle. So you've got your main subject on the left, and you're creating your focal point to the left here. So everything else kind of fades away, but you're also using the empty space over here on the right side of the image to kind of frame her. Okay, and there are thousands of examples online about the rule of thirds. But basically, that's all you need to know. It's a grid, and it's there to help you draw the viewer's focus to a certain point. That can be in the middle, that's fine. That can be to the left, and you're going to use those lines to line it up. That can be to the right, you're going to use those lines to line it up. Or you can create like a landscape to where your foreground's on the bottom third, your main subject's in the middle third, and then like your sky is in the top third. Okay, and that's more pleasing to the human eye. Hope that helps. Okay, you don't have to go with vibrant, which is the ad on the page right there. Okay, so here's an example of a landscape. Okay, they've got their foreground right here on the bottom third. Middle third, they've got a different layer, and then it's kind of blurred out on the top third. Okay, and this is used all the time, not just in photography, in video as well. And now that you know that, you're going to see that a lot, and you'll start thinking about it a lot. Okay, anything else? I'm here to answer if you got questions. Oh, I'm gonna make a video later for teachers. Cool. Okay guys, once again, apologize for the super laggy internet, but we're making do with what we have, right? That's kind of the motto of the e-learning process. Make do with what we have. We've got some time. We can learn stuff. Scotty, good hearing from you. Brennan, good hearing from you. All right, I'm gonna wrap the stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe.